Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Full Court Press Basketball Debate, Monday, May 11th, 2015. You ask for more, we're going to give you more. The triple threat is here today. Chris Guyette, Yvonne Juno, and Johnny Malson this week. We got a lot to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. Playoff basketball, some buzzer beaters.
Been a hell of a week.
Some fines,
Absolutely.
some drama.
Yep.
You want it, you got it here on Full Court Press.
Drama, drama, drama.
Welcome to the playoffs. We're going to start with last night.
We're gonna go backwards.
The Clippers
Okay.
roll over Houston 128-95.
No. That's not a good adjective. Roll over Houston. They massacred Houston.
And they take a 3-1, commanding 3-1 series lead, going back to Houston for Game 5. Question A. Your general thoughts on the outcome? We're going to start here with Yvonne.
My thoughts on the outcome?
Your thoughts on the game itself.
Well, on the series so far, on the semifinals
Series and especially this game.
That game was unbelievable. I want to know what happened to the Houston team that played all season long. They're not playing like they usually play. They're not playing like they played all season long. Where was their defense last night? Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I have Houston circled when they were up against Dallas and Houston won over Dallas. Now that it's Houston and the Clippers, I never in a million years thought that the Clippers, I didn't say they don't have the ability. I don't say they don't have the skill, and I don't say that they didn't have the potential from day one. Okay? But I never dreamed at this point in time, at this stage of the game, that we would be Clippers 3 and Houston 1. And honestly, I've already changed on my grid. I would not be displeased at all if the Clippers beat Houston and got to the next position up against whoever they're going to play in the semifinals headed towards the championship.
Which will probably most likely be Golden State.
That's what I'm thinking. I've already changed it. As you can see, I scratched through, man. I already put, as long as San Antonio was in the picture, then I thought it was going to be San Antonio all the way. The Clippers are playing like they are on fire. And Chris Paul is not surprising me at all. Blake Griffin is not surprising me. He's doing a hell of a job, by the way. Blake is doing a hell of a job. Austin Rivers.
He's a turd.
Oh, but he's playing so well.
He's a turd. Why couldn't he do that in New Orleans?
Oh, well, now that, okay. If
Give me a
that's where
break.
you're going,
Give me a break.
if that's where you're going with that,
If you want to tell me about a role player that's stepping up, talk to me about J.J. Redick.
yeah, absolutely.
I don't care about Austin Rivers.
Oh.
Talk to me about J.J. Redick.
Bud, come on, man.
Talk
Give
to
him
me.
credit.
Talk to me about J.J. Redick.
All right, I understand that, but let me tell you something. Not last night's game, but 2 nights ago when they played, did you see on, when they put the microphone up and you can hear what the coaches are saying? What's it called? Inside tracks? Anyway, Chris Paul was sitting out because of his hamstring, and Austin made that 3-point shot, and they happened to pick it up on the microphone. He went up to Doc Rivers, and he hit him in the middle of his chest, like this. He said, man, you can be proud right now. He said, you're not just a coach, you're a dad.
And that's all well and good.
And that was it was so awesome for Chris Paul to say that.
Well, of course it was.
Okay. But I didn't know Austin had this in him.
I did. He went to Duke.
Okay, well, where's it been all
at
this
Duke.
time? Where's it been all this
That's
time?
my point.
Okay. But I want to give him credit for it finally coming
Okay,
out.
if you want to give him credit, that's fine.
Okay, you're not impressed.
I'm not impressed with this series at all.
Okay.
But I want to get his thoughts first.
Okay.
I mean, I understand where you're coming from with the whole Austin Rivers thing. I mean, granted, before last night's game, he did awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But in this game, I mean, he didn't really do that much. I mean, sure, he made some pretty decent shots. Only made 12 points.
Yeah.
But I gotta agree with Chris with the whole, like, improvement on
Where was
the
he all
team.
season long?
Right. But also with the whole J.J. Redick thing.
Yeah.
I mean, am I surprised that they won? No. Because they did some amazing defense last night. Even though I didn't get to catch most of the game, you know.
You don't have to watch the game
You
to
don't
know
have
that
to watch the game.
holding Houston to 95 is impressive.
Well, no kidding. But look
Right.
who the coach is.
Right.
And let's don't forget to give credit to Chris Paul, who's playing with a what could potentially be a very serious injury. How many minutes he end up playing last night? 22, 25?
No, that was the previous game.
Oh, that was the previous game?
Previous game he played 23. This game he played 26.
Okay. They're still keeping an eye on him because that hamstring pull could take him out. He does not need to be a liability for the team right now. And Blake is just off the charts right now. I just don't understand where Houston is.
Well, to go on to question B, how much longer will this series last? I think it's going to be over in game 5. Game 5 is going to be over. Not saying that there's a chance that Houston could win, but I mean,
Yeah, 'cause
what
there's-
did
that's
Houston?
tomorrow
Houston
night.
won the
They're
first
still
game, or they
in
won the
Houston.
second game?
Well, the second game
They won the second game.
Yeah.
at home.
And
And
there's,
then they just completely lost their momentum.
right. Right.
I'm going to tell y'all why I'm not.
Okay, but game 5 tomorrow night
Yeah, it's tomorrow
is
night.
in Houston.
I'm going to tell y'all.
It's not in Houston.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's in Houston.
Yeah, it's in Houston.
Oh,
I'm
yeah, it
looking
is.
at the
Okay, yeah, I
schedule.
see it right here.
Right here.
Yep.
They're playing in Houston
Yeah.
with the time to be announced.
At 8:30.
I'm going to tell y'all why I'm not impressed with this series. I cannot watch. I am so much more than a basketball analyst. I am a fan, first and foremost. And there is not a single game that I have ever been able to not sit through the opening tip till the final buzzer. I can't do that in this series. And I'm going to tell you why. The Hacker Shack is getting ridiculous.
Yeah. I agree with that.
The Clippers shot 63 free throws
Yep.
in this game.
Yep.
DeAndre Jordan shot 28 in the first half.
You can't blame the Clippers for that, though. That's Houston doing that.
In the first half. But the Clippers started it. The
That
Clippers,
doesn't mean that.
the Clippers hacked Dwight Howard first. So Houston said, oh, well, you want to play that game? We're going to hack DeAndre Jordan. What it does is it slows the game down.
Oh, it makes me sick.
And it makes it so boring.
Yep.
And on top of everything else, out of those 63 free throws, you only hit 37 of them.
Yep.
For a whopping 59%.
Well, baby, they know who to go after.
That's not the point.
They know who to go
The
after.
point is, I cannot watch a whole game of this series because I get sick to my stomach. Because it is not fun anymore.
No, it's
because
too much
you're
stop
taking,
and go, stop
you're
and
taking the fun out of it.
Yeah.
What fun is it to see the same guy go up to shoot the same shot 28 times in 24 minutes?
Yep.
That's not fun. It's not fun.
It shouldn't be
Now.
necessary if you're a good team.
Now, if you want to get analytical with it, we can get analytical with it. The Clippers dominated this game from opening tip to final buzzer.
What was the final score?
128 to 95.
Yeah.
In the fourth quarter, the Clippers scored a playoff high 43 points.
Yeah.
That is the highest point total of any quarter of any team this entire postseason was the Clippers' third quarter.
Yeah.
They dominated. They dominated the rebounding edge. And I have a question. We're sitting here talking about Chris Paul and Blake Griffin. When we go give DeAndre Jordan some credit?
All right.
26 and 17 yesterday against Dwight Howard, and then holding Dwight Howard to 7 points and 6 rebounds. I think DeAndre Jordan deserves an exorbitant amount of credit here. Yes, he's missing free throws, but he's never claimed to be a top-notch free throw shooter.
But he has improved.
However,
he has improved.
When you put up 26 and 17 against, in my opinion, the most formidable, not the best, the most formidable big man in the game, in Dwight Howard, formidable, well-rounded, can play offense and defense. He's not just good at one side. He's good at both sides. When you put up those kinds of numbers against Dwight Howard, and then you hold Dwight Howard to less than half of what you're doing, you are putting yourself in that upper echelon of big men. And that is exactly what we're seeing from DeAndre Jordan in this series. Now, how much did Dwight Howard fouling out and getting the 2 technicals hurt Houston? It's to be debated.
Demeanor, attitude, cockiness, and he is just... Go ahead.
It's been well documented that you don't like him, and that's all well and good. And that's all well and good, but you're not going to sit there and tell me that he doesn't provide a force for Houston when he's playing.
But I told you when they started going up again, when I realized that they were going to go up against Houston, he's not going to try to pull the same stunts.
Okay, but what are you missing here? This is the first game where DeAndre Jordan dominated Dwight Howard. This is the first game out of 4. For the first 3 games of this series, Dwight Howard was putting up 25 and 15 on Jordan.
Because
but Houston,
staying away from DeAndre.
But Houston, nobody else was helping him out. Nobody else was helping him out. Houston couldn't get the job done as a team.
Right.
But Dwight Howard was owning DeAndre Jordan for the first 3 games of this series. And last night, DeAndre Jordan said, "I've had enough."
Yep.
Now he needs to make his free throws.
Yep.
Because had the Clippers made their free throws,
yep,
they would have put up 154 points yesterday.
That would have been incredible.
154 points!
I know.
And as for Houston, where have they been? You got to remember Dwight Howard didn't play half the season. Half the season, James Harden was carrying the load. So how much is Dwight Howard's presence affecting James Harden's play? I don't know. But I don't think Dwight Howard has anything with James Harden. It has anything to do with James Harden going 5 of 12. I think that's all on James Harden.
Yeah.
I don't think Dwight Howard has anything to do with that.
No, I didn't say that.
Because to me, that just shows a lack of aggressiveness. And this is all series long.
James Harden didn't play James Harden's game yesterday.
It's all series long. The Clippers have dominated this entire series. Now, question B. He's given us his answer. He thinks it ends in Game 5. When do you think this series ends, Yvonne?
They play in
Houston for Game 5, back in Los Angeles for Game 6.
It's possible for tomorrow night, but I think it's going to go 6.
I do as well.
I think they're going to win it at home in 6.
I think it is.
That's what I have down.
I think it is strongly possible. I think it is strongly possible.
Very strongly possible
that the Clippers end this series tomorrow night because I'm a big proponent of momentum.
Right.
When you have momentum,
on a roll.
you have an advantage.
Right.
And when you have an advantage, you've one-upped yourself against the other team.
Right. And it's a mind thing, too.
I think it's highly possible, but I'm gonna say Game 6 to stay safe because I think as much as it's possible for the Clippers to end this series tomorrow night, I also feel it's extremely possible that James Harden could put up 50 tomorrow.
Oh, absolutely.
At home,
Oh,
he's done it before.
it is absolute. After the humiliating game of last night,
I think Houston.
they're going to be ready to run tomorrow night.
I think Houston wins Game 5, but no question it ends at or before Game 6.
Right.
In Los Angeles.
Before we switch over to
go ahead, please.
It's back to Hack a Shaq. I don't know if you ended up getting to watch the short halftime show with Shaq and all them, but I don't know if you saw it, Miss Yvonne. But while Shaq was giving some pointers and he was giving his insight on a game, I think it was the Warriors and the Grizzlies. It was halftime and he fell on his ass.
Yeah.
Well. For halftime show last night,
they wrapped him in
bubble wrap, and he was also talking about Hack a Shaq.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about it right when you brought up Hack a Shaq, because they thought that it would be nice to wrap him up in some bubble wrap so that and did you also hear that he paid somebody $50,000 to make an internet meme for him?
The best meme of Shaq falling. They got $50,000. Shaq personally paid him.
Shaq personally paid that person to make.
He fell hard. He did.
He's 7 foot 300 pounds.
Really hurt himself.
Right.
The thing about Hack Shaq, I told y'all 2 weeks ago when we were on the air.
Right.
Oh,
and y'all weren't fully aware of what it was.
I was, but I didn't think they were going to run it.
I didn't know it was.
I told y'all. Once Houston figured out that DeAndre Jordan shoots 41%, they're going to foul him, and you're not going to be able to watch the game. I remember saying that.
Well, yeah, it's
and now you can't. It's not fun. That's the most important thing about basketball, is that the fans enjoy it. And I'm sorry, the fans are not enjoying this series.
Well, I know
because this is the series that I'm hearing the least about.
Well, this is also, it's not just this series. It happens everywhere. I mean, the Hack Shack, and you know what's really sad is they now have a stat for that.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They have a Hack a Shack stat.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, like I'm standing here. I've said this many times over the past couple of weeks. Define a flagrant one foul. Excessive or unnecessary contact to an opposing player does not result in an ejection, but it is a flagrant one foul. Is Hack a Shaq not unnecessary and over excessive?
Right.
Why should it not be a flagrant one?
There. I think Silver's going to have a lot to say about this when the season.
They're going to, and it's going to be changed.
They're going to have to change.
But that's the only way I can see to change it. It's the only. You give a technical, okay, it's a technical foul.
Right.
That's not going to do anything. You give somebody a flagrant foul, they're going to be like, oh crap, I need to stop.
Right.
I need to think about it before I do this again, because if I get another flagrant one, it's an automatic 1-game suspension.
Right.
So two techs is automatically an ejection, correct?
Correct.
So two flagrants in one game is a 1-game suspension.
Correct. Plus ejection.
Right.
Plus ejection. And a flagrant 2 is automatic ejection and suspension.
Walk you right off the court.
Yep.
Wow.
LeBron James beats the buzzer against the Bulls and ties the series at 2. We're not talking about the shot in question A. We're talking about the game as a whole. How surprised were you guys, if at all, by this outcome? Starting over here.
I wasn't surprised because I knew it was going to be a very close game. Because obviously Cleveland and Chicago, both humongous teams, especially excelling in defense.
Right.
They're great teams in defense and in offense. Last game, not this last game, but the past game, Derrick Rose.
He was the buzzer beater.
He was the buzzer beater.
Right.
And I'm not saying that LeBron had to do it to prove a point.
Yes, he did.
But knowing LeBron, who knows? And after the game, he did say, "Give me the ball and I'll win it." Point blank.
Yeah.
The game was very close. The game was good. even though I didn't get to watch it all.
Game was extremely good.
But it was amazing.
I
saw
watched
very
every
snippets.
minute of it. It was awesome.
I went back and watched every minute. I
It was
watched
awesome.
bits and pieces at work,
Right,
but I
right.
went back last night and watched the whole thing.
They exchanged the lead.
It was
So many
a fabulous
times.
game. It was a fabulous
Oh my
game.
God!
Yeah, right.
It was awesome.
I truly believe, just before you give your
Sure.
statement, I truly believe that so far, this game and Game 7 between the Clippers and San Antonio when Chris Paul had his buzzer beater, those are the two best games of the playoffs so far. This one coming up just short of that Chris Paul buzzer beater because it was a Game 7. This was a Game 4.
Right.
However, you could make the case that this was just as big of a game for Cleveland.
Oh yeah,
Right.
because now they're 2-2.
Correct. Give us your thoughts
Now
on the
we
game.
got an even playing field again.
Your thoughts on the game. Your outcome. Were you surprised?
No, I'm not surprised. They're my pick. They're my pick. Chicago is phenomenal. Derrick Rose, I'd like to go back one game beyond last night. Derrick Rose was phenomenal.
He was phenomenal again yesterday. He had 31.
I understand that, but in Friday night's game,
Yeah.
the ball had just left his hand when the scoreboard turned red. And I mean, it was like
Yeah, they reviewed.
the whole stadium was electrified. It was incredible.
Yeah.
It was absolutely incredible. And, I mean, to me, these are the two most closely matched teams
Without
in
a
the whole
doubt.
series.
Without a doubt.
The most
These
closely
two,
matched teams.
and Washington and Atlanta.
Yeah.
That was in
I
Chicago
would
last
still,
night,
Yes, it
right?
was.
I would still say Cleveland and Chicago are
I
more.
agree. I agree.
Or more, it could go either way. It could go either way. But LeBron, after the game was over and in the interview, when he said, I told them, regardless of I told the team, regardless of what anybody says, give me the ball. I'm going to make it happen.
I've got to say that I was a little surprised. Very minuscule surprise because let's remember Pau Gasol did not play in this game.
Yeah,
And I think that hurt Chicago greatly.
absolute. Oh, he hasn't been in the last two games.
No, he was in the game previously.
He was in the one
but
where Derek got the buzzer
he was
beater.
there.
He won't be in Game 5,
He
though.
probably will not be in
Oh.
Game 5 either.
You're right.
So I was.
Yeah, I think that's very detrimental to the
I
team.
definitely was not shocked, but there was a minuscule of surprise there because they were in Chicago, number one,
Mm-hmm.
and because I personally, I don't know if you two were on the same page as me, but I personally thought Chicago had all the momentum going into last night's
Mm-hmm.
game.
Yeah.
So I thought, and with the way
Oh,
Rose
yeah.
played, I
Yeah.
thought Chicago was going to go up 3-1.
I did too.
And the Cavs locked down in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
It's so impressive because LeBron has been ridiculed. LeBron has been crucified for not being a clutch player. Well, let me tell you something.
Right. He proved
They
that
held
wrong.
Chicago. Check the stat out, okay? Cleveland in the third quarter, the entire third quarter, scored 12 points. They turn around
And come back in the fourth.
in the fourth quarter and hold Chicago to 16.
Mm-hmm.
That proves to me, you mentioned defense. As a team,
Yeah.
Yeah.
came through. And look at the final score of this game, 86 to 84.
84.
That's defense. That is a defensive battle.
Absolutely.
And
Well,
Cleveland,
that was a defensive win.
Cleveland
Absolutely.
won the battle. Now the war is far from over.
No,
But
yeah.
Cleveland has tied this series.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and just saying right here, anybody know Cleveland's free throw line yesterday?
No.
23 of 24.
Really.
96%.
I know one thing. LeBron's free throws has improved 100%.
96%.
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
LeBron used, Johnny, I don't know if you've been keeping up the last few years.
Oh,
LeBron LeBron used to be the one that they would foul on purpose to make go to the free throw line because he couldn't make them.
He would be the one. No,
Right.
I'll give you the stats.
Right.
The last game. I'm glad y'all mentioned this. The last game in his first stint in Cleveland,
Right.
he shot 72% from the free throw line, which is league average. League average is
Absolutely.
74%.
But when you're LeBron James, you need to be above average.
After last night's game, LeBron is now a 79% free throw shooter. It's incredible.
They're not fouling him on purpose anymore.
Now, let's talk about the buzzer beater.
Yeah.
The shot itself. Talk about the shot. Give me your thoughts on the shot. And does this shot prove anything about LeBron? Why or why not?
Well, of course it does. Of course it does. Won't you give us your thoughts for a change first? Of course it does. I think he also had something to prove to himself.
Does it prove anything? First of all, before I answer that question, what a shot.
Right.
On the road, tie game. I'm going to give him an abundance of credit for the shot. Does it prove anything about him? I don't know. But it does make you hesitate before you call him non-clutch. Because he now has as many playoff buzzer beaters as Michael Jordan does. If anything, and I guess we could tie in topic 3 here, LeBron says he personally scratched David Blatt's final play call and said, "Give me the ball." That proves something about it. I think
That he
as a
knows
whole,
he knows what's best for the team.
I think as a whole, the whole scenario proves something about him. The fact that he said, "No, scratch that play, give me the ball, I'm going to make the shot, I'm going to take the shot, I'm going to make the shot, and we're going to win this game." And then to go and do it, because it's one thing to say you're going to do something.
Talk the talk, but walk the walk.
Then 1 second later, actually to be clear, a second and a half later, you actually do it? Yeah, that proves something about him. Am I ready to say that LeBron is, quote, clutch? No. But I am no longer going to say that he's not
Right.
clutch. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm now on the fence about it.
Right.
I'm not on the bad side of the fence, but I'm also not on the good side of the fence. If he does it again,
Right.
if he continues to hit big shots, because clutch doesn't just have to be buzzer beaters.
No.
Clutch could be a game-changing shot with a minute left.
Right.
Okay?
Absolutely.
Or a defensive play. Or hustling for a loose ball. Anything can be defined as clutch.
It's just so much more glamorous when it's a buzzer beater shot.
It was timely.
Right.
And it was series-changing. He saved excuse my French, he saved their asses with this shot. Okay? Because if they'd be down 3-1, you could forget it. You can forget it.
Well, they're 2-2 now. It's an even playing field again.
So it does prove something to me about him as a leader. Because we saw glimpses of this in Miami, but when you got Dwayne Wade on the side of you, how much of a leader can you really be? Okay? But now you've got the opportunity. You have taken, my God, he's so good, he's taken Kyrie Irving under his wing. Okay? Kevin Love, Iman Shumpert, J.R. Smith. He's taken these guys under his wing.
Is Love coming back at all?
No, he's out. 4 to 6 months.
Yep.
Yeah, they're doing that. They're doing that with a very big empty spot.
It proves to me that he is a very underrated leader. If anything, that's what it proves to me.
I agree. I wish they hadn't almost killed him after he made it.
I'm glad they did that.
I thought they were going to hurt him.
I'm glad they did
Bending him in half over the announcer's table.
I'm glad they did that.
Okay, I'm going to take it one step further, and then, Johnny, you can comment if you want to. I think with what Derrick Rose did the night before, he was damn determined. Because Derrick Rose was the buzzer beater shot in the game before. I think he was determined that, no, not again. This is not going to happen again. And when he saw that it was down to the wire and it was going to be a one shot, that's why he overrode what the coach said. And said, give the ball to me. I'm good. You realize what kind of pressure he put on himself when he did that?
He doesn't feel pressure. That's the thing.
Baby, we all feel
I know.
pressure. We all feel pressure. But he takes that pressure and...
I'm sorry. I don't think Paul Pierce feels pressure.
Oh, I do.
I don't.
But people handle pressure in different ways. Some people feed off that pressure. And I think that's the kind of person we're talking about. When you're talking about Paul Pierce, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, those kind of people feed on that. That's an adrenaline rush for them.
I don't think Paul Pierce feels pressure. Just like the same thing, I don't think the most clutch player of all time, in my opinion, I don't think Kobe Bryant knows what pressure is. He just does his damn job.
I think they feel it, but they use it in a positive way.
I don't know. I know what kind of pressure LeBron put on himself. It's enormous.
He's his own worst enemy. Absolutely.
Does it prove anything to me about LeBron? There was nothing more you could prove to me.
I
Tell
agree.
me about LeBron.
I agree.
Right.
I mean, because we already know it's LeBron James.
His greatness is overstated.
Right. Now, granted, he did amazing in the way of spacing himself. The way he played that last play. Because I watched it like 4 times in just that matter of time before we started. It was amazing how he had like, what, 2 or 3 guys on him?
Oh, he had Jimmy Butler right in his face.
Yeah.
So Jimmy Butler's pretty much 2 or 3 guys.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And
Jimmy Butler counts for at least 2 guys.
which, by the way, we saw him the other day.
God, exact look-alike walking in.
Yeah, an exact look.
Really?
Right. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it was scary. But, I mean, come on. It's LeBron James. I'm not surprised he made the shot. Now, he's been known to say things, and then it doesn't happen.
That's my point.
But if he does say it, and the way he said it, and he did do it, now he can gloat about it. Because he's been known to say things and then not follow through.
I am going to follow up on your statement, but so you think because Rose hit the buzzer beater the 2 nights before,
Game before.
LeBron had to, I don't want to say
No, upstage?
no, but LeBron had to take the initiative as the leader of the team and say, no, this ain't happening again.
Right.
I think there was a bigger underlying meaning, if you want to go that far. I think because he has been ridiculed and crucified for not being clutch, he took this as an opportunity to say, you know what, haters?
Right.
Naysayers, doubters, in your face.
Right.
I think if there was an underlying meaning, plus the Rose buzzer beater, I think it's almost that you had to one-up him. That you had to match Derrick Rose. But
Go ahead.
But I think the bigger underlying meaning was the past. He's saying, no, I'm going to put an end to all this talk. Because if there is one aspect of my game that is not quite there. Now, don't get me wrong, there's always room to improve, even for this guy. It's hard to imagine because he's going to go down as probably the greatest to ever play by the time it's all said and done. Okay? There's even room for this guy to improve. And that's the one sliver, the one aspect of his game that has been criticized, is his clutch gene. Well, I think it finally found its roots yesterday.
Final thought from me, anyway. The responsibility that he put on his shoulders for overriding what the coach said and said, get the ball to me, I'm going to take the shot and I'm going to make it. Do you realize that if he had not made that shot, he would have had the responsibility of, number one, not only overriding what the coach had said, but failing to do what he told the team he was going to do. That's a hell of a load to put on your shoulders in the last, how many seconds?
1.5.
Right.
1.5 seconds.
To your whole team. That's a big responsibility. Because, honey, it could have just as easily not gone in.
Final question about this game. Which team going to Game 5 has the advantage now, and why?
Well, based off of what she just said, imagine if he wouldn't have made it. Imagine what kind of impact that would have had on the team. Now
and
that
what
he
would the
made
press
the
and
shot,
the media be saying now?
boost the confidence of the team.
Uh-huh.
Not only LeBron, because we know LeBron has that confidence in him.
LeBron could be 0 for 99 and he's going to take the 100th shot.
Right.
Because he's
but
LeBron.
this is going to boost the confidence for the younger players of the team.
Well, not only that, he gave total. He never said. All he said when they interviewed him is, I told them, get the ball to me, I'm going to take the shot and I'm going to make the shot. He followed that up with, he wasn't doing this. He followed that up with, now you know you can't do something like that if you don't have the greatest team behind you.
Right.
If he does a good job, if he does a bad job, it doesn't matter. He includes the team. He is not all, it's me, it's me, it's me, it's me.
Well, he's not the younger LeBron that he was.
Right.
Now, which team has the advantage?
They're on a level playing field.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I don't think either team has a certain advantage over each other because, I mean, LeBron and his team and Derrick Rose and his team.
Well, the only advantage I think they have, they're going back to Cleveland.
Right.
I think there's a bigger advantage than that.
They're going back to Cleveland, and I think they are so pumped up.
That is a part
from this
of
game.
the advantage for the next game.
Yeah.
I think there's a clear advantage for Cleveland right now.
Oh, I do too. Wait, can I interject something before you say? Because Pau Gasol's not going to be playing
Bingo.
for Chicago.
Right there.
Bingo. Now wait a minute.
That's a big
How much
advantage.
of that is going to get overridden by the MRI test that Kyrie Irving has tendonitis in his left knee today? Is Kyrie Irving going to play in Game 5? I don't know.
Minutes.
It's very iffy. Very, very iffy.
Okay, so what's a bigger loss? Pau Gasol or Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love?
Pau Gasol, that's such a not only defensive standpoint, but he's got a good offensive game. Kyrie Irving,
Oh my God.
that's big.
That's big.
Plus Kevin Love.
Well, they did it without Love already.
But now you're
But they
missing two
had
pieces.
Kyrie Irving.
Oh no, you can't. It's going to be.
Maybe.
LeBron James is LeBron James, but LeBron James can't do.
No,
LeBron James is human.
No.
Right, he can
One
only do so
there's
much.
no I in team.
Right.
You
So,
can't do it all
but
by yourself.
before we move on to the next series, I want to, and yes, I'm about to do this, hold your seats. I would like to give one David Blatt some credit here. You want to talk about haters and doubters and naysayers? I said in our preseason debate
It's always been that way.
that out of any coach in the entire league, even more than our Monty Williams this season, that David Blatt had the most pressure on him because of the situation that he was coming into. Yes.
The controversy and the back and
Did LeBron do I have any doubts in my mind that yesterday LeBron changed David Blatt's play call? No, I have no doubt about that.
Nope.
1, because Blatt is inexperienced. 2, because LeBron is LeBron, and 3, because LeBron is LeBron.
Right.
Okay? However, no Kevin Love. Kyrie Irving is You were missing J.R. Smith for the first 2 games of this series, and somehow it's 2-2. I believe that the coach deserves some credit here. Because of all the doubts, because of all the haters and the naysayers. Now, that's the type of player LeBron is. If LeBron sees something that he doesn't like, he's going to change it. But I've been hearing since the buzzer beater happened, I've gotten emails, oh, LeBron the coach does it again, da-da-da. Wait a minute. So you're telling me that when Kobe comes back next year, now this is Kobe, okay? When Kobe comes back next year, and there's a clutch moment, because you know there's going to be one if Kobe's on the court, and he says, no, scratch that play, give me the ball. That's the type of player Kobe is, correct? But does that make Byron Scott any less of a head coach?
No.
No, it doesn't.
No.
So I'm addressing the fact that LeBron is not the coach of this team at the end of the day.
But let's be perfectly honest. The coach is on the sideline, drawing on the dry erase board, doing what he thinks is the right thing to do. But these guys are on the court. And if they say to their players, the coach has to have enough confidence in the leader and their leader out there on the floor that if that person decides, kind of like the quarterback on a football team, if they realize that they think they can make this happen, the coach has to be willing.
As a head coach, David Blatt found a way to compensate for not only Kevin Love, but J.R. Smith as well. And for a guy that's coaching in his first NBA playoff, that's impressive to me. That is just, it's impressive. I don't know another word for it. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Memphis takes a 2-1 lead over Golden State.
I do not have much to say. Thoughts on the outcome? B. What has suddenly gone right for Memphis? Mike Conley.
Ding, 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 ding.
What else do I need to say? Mike Conley.
Yeah,
now,
every
granted.
time he gets the ball or somebody gets next to him, my stomach cringes because I'm so scared they're going to hurt him.
Right. Now, granted, it's not just Mike Conley.
No.
Marc Gasol.
But he's
I hate to say it. Zach Randolph.
Tony Allen.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
They're playing defense because what me and Chris had talked about minutes before we had started. For the past 3 games, they have kept the MVP to 26.7% in the last 3 games.
I'm loving it.
Last 2 games.
I'm loving
You know what? You know what? I've got a couple of thoughts on this.
Oh, I'm sorry, 2 games. I'm sorry.
I've gotten a couple of. I have a couple.
Tonight
thoughts on this.
should be interesting. They play them in Memphis.
I have a couple thoughts on this. Number 1, I would like to point out that Mike Conley is the shit.
And that's an understatement.
And I think
everybody out there in social media networks just heard that.
I think that I deserve an ESPN contract because I called this before this series even started. On the air, on this iPad that we are recording on right now, there is evidence, there is solid proof that I said when Mike Conley comes back, Memphis will be a different team. And I'll be damned if Conley didn't come back in game 2, score 23 points, and then, wait a minute, but where's Curry? Oh yeah, he's 4 of 21 from 3 in the last 2 damn games.
But I cringe every time they go up to Conley because if they hurt him, they could
in the first game they did hit him.
4 of 21 from 3.
Did you happen to see his face the first night he came back?
Well, they ended up
the
hitting
plastic.
him.
Yeah.
Whenever because he had to
He
sit
was
out
on
for
the floor
for
with
the
the
first half.
ball, and somebody kicked the mask into his face.
He had to sit out for the remainder of the first half.
I could have jumped through the screen and hurt somebody. But he's getting it done.
Well, he's getting his face mask refitted today.
He's getting it done. Tonight should be
Another
interesting.
thing everybody has to remember, and I like to say this, and I know not a lot of people agree with it, but I'm here to prove it as a fact. Seeding in the playoffs is simply a number.
Uh-huh.
And
I agree.
this is perfect proof. Here's what I'm getting at.
Absolute proof.
Wait, here's what I'm getting at. With our Pelicans, everybody, the whole thing is, oh my God, they're so young, they're so young, they're so young. Golden State's average age is 2 more years than us.
Mm-hmm.
They just happen to be 67 and 15 in the regular season.
Well, of course, baby.
I don't give a damn if they're the 1 seed or not.
Well, baby, that's the only reason they were the 1 seed.
They
The amount
are
of wins.
just as young as the Pelicans were.
Absolutely.
Okay? I am not surprised by this. I said, now, let me say for the record, I've still got Golden State winning the series. I'm still sticking by my pick. Unless Memphis wins tonight, then it's all she wrote.
That's what I've got down too.
Let's move on. Paul Pierce.
Can we just go outside and lay down in the middle of the street right now? Because just like Paul Pierce after he had made his shot with
Paul
our arms
Pierce.
wide out.
Oh, but he's old, remember?
Oh yeah.
Paul
If I hear
Pierce.
that shit one more time.
He's washed out.
Yeah, if I hear that one more time.
Paul Pierce.
Oh, like Tim Duncan resigned,
Paul Pierce.
didn't he?
No.
I thought he signed. He's gonna play another.
No,
Not
there
officially.
was
Not yet.
talks.
There's talks
of it.
about it, but
Oh,
not yet.
but it's not official.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Paul Pierce beats Atlanta at the buzzer. And Washington takes a 2-1 series lead. Let's get our thoughts on the outcome. Were we surprised? Were we not surprised? Why? Were you just general thoughts on the game?
I'm not surprised, not with the way that they've been playing. What I'm much more surprised about, all season long, Atlanta was going to take it all the way. They were going to be the number 1 team. They were going to win everything. You remember that? Before the, I mean, it was Atlanta this and Atlanta that and Atlanta
As
this.
it should
and
have been.
Atlanta. Yeah, exactly. What's going on? I don't understand. I'm not complaining. Don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining. And I still have Atlanta winning on my bracket. Now, that may change. Because after what I saw Washington do, it could very well be Washington and Cleveland. Boy, that would be a game.
My thoughts on the outcome of this game. I was a bit surprised. Because Washington did this without John Wall. Which is
Oh, they have a very
huge.
big factor missing. Oh, yeah.
5 fractures in one hand.
Is he going to be back?
I doubt it.
I doubt it, too.
No.
Especially in his hand.
I doubt it. I don't really have to reinstate that I'm not surprised by Paul Pierce hitting a buzzer beating
I'm not
shot.
surprised by anything Paul Pierce would do.
But how can I say this? I was not totally convinced by Washington because yes, Paul Pierce beat the buzzer. Yes, he quote called game. Yes, it was amazing to see. but I look at it more as a bailout shot. Because before this shot, Washington let Atlanta go on a 17-0 run.
Mm-hmm.
Not only did Paul Pierce win the game, he saved Washington's ass.
You're going to call that final shot a bailout shot?
17-0 run?
I understand that, but they still came back from that. Otherwise, that final shot would not have won the game.
Let that happen in Atlanta, Yvonne. Let that happen in Atlanta and see what happens.
Well, tonight will tell the tale.
My point is...
They play tonight at 6.
My point is they can't do that. Washington had to... It shouldn't have gotten down to this, is my point.
Oh, I
because at the beginning of the fourth quarter, Washington was up by 21 points to start the fourth. And then they let Atlanta
all of a sudden they stopped playing.
Go on a 17-0 run.
Right.
That can't happen. So I'm not calling it a bailout shot. It was a bailout shot. Because what if Paul Pierce doesn't hit that shot? Then they go to overtime and Atlanta's got the momentum.
I agree with that.
It was.
But they came back from that 17-point deficit.
They didn't have to come back from anything. They were still winning. Atlanta tied the game with a 17-0 run.
Right.
They didn't have to come back from anything. Now, that's another reason I call it a bailout shot. Because Atlanta never took the lead. Washington just stayed there enough.
Right. Stayed in the action. Right.
I don't think you can get away with that. I do not think you can get away with that.
On a regular basis, absolutely not.
I was not convinced. It was a fantastic shot. I had no doubts in my mind that Paul Pierce was going to make the shot. I think Washington did the right thing by going to Paul Pierce in the final seconds.
Right.
It was a great shot. I'm not discrediting the shot. I'm calling it like I see it.
If they win tonight, they play in Washington tonight. That will give them a 3-1 advantage.
I am calling it.
You realize that?
I am calling it like I see it. And that is that I don't think you can let Atlanta go on that 17-0 run.
No.
You shouldn't have let them get back in the game.
Oh, if that's the way you want to look at it, I agree.
Therefore, yes, it's a buzzer beater. Yes, it's a huge shot. Yes, he needed to make it. He bailed him out.
Yeah.
But that's what great players do.
Right.
But he shouldn't have had.
It never should have gotten to that point. Okay.
Floor's y'all's.
I agree.
Yeah.
Can you add anything to what we've said?
I mean, not really. I mean...
You don't really expect any less
I mean,
from
because,
Paul
like,
Pierce.
okay, the thoughts and the outcome, it was a good game. Aside from, you know, the third or fourth quarter when they let Atlanta go. Me and Chris had talked about it yesterday. Atlanta looked tired in the first half.
They did look tired.
They looked exhausted in the first half.
Well, honey, they're all getting exhausted.
Oh, right. I can't say, oh, well, you can't be tired. There's no way. There's no way that
you're human.
Exactly.
I've always had a complaint about that, and I hope that's one of the things they change.
They're not going to change it about the playoffs.
How much an advantage is Pierce?
Yeah, that's question B. How much of an advantage is Pierce for Washington?
What do you mean? Wait. What are you talking about? They're not going to change it for the playoffs.
They're not going to change the playoff format.
Okay.
They'll change the
How about the season format?
Season, maybe. But
Okay,
the playoffs is a total different season.
By the time they get to the playoffs, they're already exhausted.
Well, you're going to be exhausted no matter what. You just played an 82-game season over the course of 7 months. You're going to be exhausted.
Right.
And the playoffs is a whole new season.
How much of an advantage is Pierce? It's Paul Pierce.
Right.
I mean, look, like you said, I hate hearing the fact, oh, he's so old.
Give me a
washed
break.
out.
Give me a break.
I don't like hearing it because Paul Pierce, no matter what anybody says,
to give you 150%.
if you can say that Kobe Bryant beat Father Time, why can't you say the same about Paul Pierce? Now, I'm not comparing Paul Pierce and Kobe Bryant.
No, but that'd be a good matchup, wouldn't it?
Kobe's got his number. I hate to say it, but over the course of history, Kobe's had his number. Kobe's got everybody's number. Kobe's the only guy I know that had Michael Jordan's number.
Yeah.
That's why I consider him the greatest.
So,
but there is one thing to compare about Kobe and Pierce. And that is what they provide to a playoff team.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think Kobe has a little bit more of a killer instinct, if you want to call it that. But the competitive edge, and it's so much more than Paul Pierce's big shot making. It's leadership.
mm-hmm.
It's in the locker room. It's in the huddles. It's emotionally. It's the way Paul Pierce moves. He doesn't look a day old right now. He doesn't look a day old. And the Wizards players are saying, well, damn, shit.
If he can do
Paul's
it, why
36.
can't I?
I'm 25. Give me the damn ball.
76.
Paul Pierce doesn't look a day over 25 right now.
I know. And
And
he's sure not playing like
And
it.
you know what? And I forgot to say this about LeBron, and I'm going to lump the two up. Paul Pierce is known as LeBron James's kryptonite, right? I am so proud of both of them.
Yeah.
And Derrick Rose, for that matter, for their buzzer-beating shots
Yeah.
this weekend. It just... But this one especially got to me because this is 2008 all over again, with Paul Pierce hitting a big shot. This is 2008 Boston all over again. And how much of an advantage is Paul Pierce? Well,
Well, you got to be looking at it also from Paul Pierce's point of view. He's reliving the best time of his life from 2008, from 2008. I mean, I'm sure he never thought in his life that he would have the accolades and the joy and that sense of accomplishment again, and he's doing it all over again. How many people can look back and say, the best time of my life, I'm reliving it again?
I don't even look at it as that he's reliving it. I think he's creating a new life.
Well,
Because
the same feelings and emotions that he had
because
from back
he's older, because he's a little bit slower.
Mhm.
But I'm going to say it again. The truth doesn't lie.
Mm-mm.
And experience. I don't know how many times I have to say it.
Mm-hmm.
Experience.
Mm-hmm.
Give a damn how young Atlanta is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. I'm going to take youth over experience 10 times out of 9.
You mean experience over you?
Experience over youth
Yeah.
10 times out of 9.
Mm-hmm.
The truth shall set you free.
And it has set Washington free.
Mm-hmm.
Now, can they get the job done?
I don't know. I think tonight is a very important game.
We'll talk about it. Part 1 ends here. Part 2's coming at you next.